available everywhere, called Smart Jokes for Fun People. Make some noise for the very funny Arthur Gauss!
And for yourselves, keep it going for yourselves, because let's face it, you could be sitting at home right now watching motherfucking Love is Blind, but you're not. You're out here doing something in real life. Give it up for yourself. Oh, apparently this crowd doesn't know what Love is Blind is. Love is Blind, for those of you that don't know, which is apparently every single one of you, is a TV show on Netflix where they take two people who definitely should have remained strangers forever, and then they make them get married on TV for my amusement, right? And it's horrible what they do to those people. It turns out miserable for those people. And the way they justify it is they say, oh, this isn't a cruel practical joke. This isn't some horrible hoax we're playing on these innocent people. Right, this is a social experiment. In this social experiment, we're going to social experiment. We're going to do a social experiment. And I'm not saying don't do social experiments on TV, on people for my amusement, okay? I am saying if you are going to do social experiments on TV, on people for my amusement, make it more interesting goddamn social experiments, okay? I don't know, how about we took 10 happy couples and we made 5 of them prisoners and 5 of them guards. So tune in to find out if love is the Stanford prison experiment. Too dark. Oh, I don't know, you can flip it over to Hulu and watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show. Or if you don't like that, you can flip it back over to Netflix where they got the other Jeffrey Dahmer show. Yeah, and I'm not going to watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Unless they change the name to Eat, Pray, Love, in which case I am totally going to watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show. The problem isn't that you guys are rendering your judgment. I noticed this with Josh, too. It's like you guys are rendering your judgment like a third of a second after you're supposed to, okay? Which is very disconcerting for somebody in my position. Like, some of you are laughing on time, and that's great. I applaud you for that. And the rest of you, particularly this group over here, I don't get it, man. You guys are like the reporter reporting live via Skype on CNN, like, from Ukraine. Just like, oh, ha, 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 back to you, Ted. I know, you're sitting there, you're trying to figure out what this coked up business muppet is yelling about. I know I move fast. I just feel like at some point they're gonna run out of serial killers to make serial killer documentaries about, right? At some point they're gonna run, I mean, because they have to spend an hour talking about the serial killer childhood, right? And I was watching one of these, and I asked my wife, I was like, hey, do you think any serial killers had regular childhoods? And she was like, I don't know, but promise me you won't look it up on the internet. So I looked it up on the internet, right? And Wikipedia said that some serial killers report having a normal childhood. And I gotta call bullshit, ladies and gentlemen, right? Because after all, who's doing the reporting here? A serial killer, right? And who's the only person who can verify this story? His parents, and let's face it, they probably got serial killed, right? Second of all, why are we taking this guy's word for it about what's normal? He's a serial killer. He probably thinks it was pretty normal, right? He's just like, yeah, me and my dad, we were always doing regular father-son things like skinning cats and wearing nylons. There's a lot of eventually they're gonna run out. I mean, like that. Look, if I dedicate the rest of my life to this art, this craft, this profession of stand-up comedy, best case scenario, I get 1 hour on Netflix, right? But apparently if I just start strangling hookers and truck stops all over this country, I'm getting like 5 hours on Netflix. And that's just capitalism, baby. I'm not saying don't make documentaries about terrible people. Okay, I love documentaries about terrible people. They made like 5 about R. Kelly. I watched all of them, right? Why? Because in every documentary about R. Kelly, you have to cover that moment where people all pretend like they had to be surprised by the second time he got arrested for sex crimes. They're like, oh yeah, that second time was really surprising. It's like, oh yeah, there was no evidence beforehand? Like, I don't know, the other time he went on trial for sex crimes? Yeah, and during the first trial for sex crimes, he went out on tour. And during that tour, he referred to himself consistently in the third person as the, quote, Sexosaurus. Okay, look, stage left. I don't know what nickname I would pick for myself for my upcoming sex crimes trial. But I feel like it would probably be something like, I don't know, that's right, just me, good old law-abiding-saurus, you know? Good old affirmative consent-osaurus over here. Not saying don't, make docket more interesting, terrible people, right? And not Nazis, by the way. No more Nazi documentaries, right? Hulu, it was like suggested for you, Hulu suggested for me a documentary called Hitler, The Untold Story. Which I did not watch. Do you know why? Because you know what I am totally fine with and need no further information about? That would be Hitler, The Told Story, okay? What are they, like, we all know Hitler, but how many of us know Adolf, right? More interesting, terrible people, right? Like, I don't know, how about Ivan the Terrible? Right? Like, okay, by round of applause, how many people in here know that there was a guy named Ivan the Terrible? Yeah. Now, keep clapping if you know what was so terrible about him. Right? That's why we need the documentary. I don't know what was so terrible about him. Maybe he was terrible. I mean, he got the nickname, or maybe he just owed a historical nickname guy $50. And one day he was just like, all right, you know what? Fine, Ivan the Terrible. How you like this now? Right? Or I don't know, maybe he was just Ivan the Terrible at softball. You know? Oh no, I lost it in the lines. Ivan, you're terrible. I don't know, how about Pope Innocent? Right? We got a new pope, and when you get elected pope, you get to pick a new name. Like how R. Kelly got to pick a new name. Except you don't get to pick a R. Kelly name when you get pope. You can't be like, oh, I'm Pope Pied Piper of R&B. That's not how it works. But 14 people have gotten elected pope and picked the name Innocence. That sounds very suspicious to me. I don't know, you get elected the holiest guy in the Catholic Church, and your first act is to proclaim your innocence, right? It's just like, oh, I get to pick a new name? All right, I don't know. What's Latin for not guilty, right? How about Vlad the Impaler? How about Vlad the Impaler, right? Like, it just feels a little bit reductive to be Vlad the Impaler. You know what I mean? He probably had other interests, you know? I don't know, and maybe there's a good reason for all the impaling, right? You know how they say, like, if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail? Okay, but what if all you have is a 10-foot wooden pike sharpened into a spear? Okay, everything starts to look like a political dissident pleading for his life, you know? Also, I don't know, it's like if you just brand the guy Ivan, like Vlad the Impaler forever, where's the room for personal growth? What incentive does this guy, he's always gonna be Vlad the Impaler. He's never gonna be anything else in the eyes of the public. There's no reason for him to grow. I bet at the very moment that he was branded forever Vlad the Impaler, he was probably sitting on a therapist's couch doing the work, okay? Like, want to start session this week by report progress. This week only impale 13 people. Feel like still barriers for progress, though I realize that on reflection, lot of impaling is rooted in family of origin. You see, my father, Vlad first, he is very ruthless guy. Sometimes as child felt like only way to get attention from parents was impale people. More interesting, terrible people. Any parents here tonight? Any? Yeah, a couple. You hired a sitter, decided you want to hear about Vlad the Impaler, right? I don't know, I have a kid at home, right? And I live in San Francisco. Anybody else from San Francisco? Yeah, I grew up in San Francisco. Now I have a kid in San Francisco. People find out you have a kid in San Francisco, and they're like, is the child all right? San Francisco. It's like, yeah, it's covered in feces and syringes, but it looks pretty normal to me, you know? I'm not saying there's no differences, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just some reasonable adjustments have to be made if you have a kid in San Francisco. Like, for example, right, let me just get this out of the way right now. If you want to talk to me after the show about your kid or about the show or whatever, that's fine, but please Do not use the fact of my kid as a springboard and excuse to talk about your dog, okay? Oh yeah, child, that's a lot of responsibility, but I know about responsibility too, because I have a puppy! Okay, so, I don't know, did you have trouble going back to work when you were still breastfeeding your puppy? Hey, it's just not the same thing, you know? It's not the same thing, you know? Like, for example, if you call me up to go over to your house to meet your new puppy, right? And then 6 months later, you call me up again, and I go over to your house, and there's no explanation, and no puppy. Yeah, I might have some questions around the edges. But if you call me up to go over to your house to meet your new baby, and then 6 months later, you call me up again, and I go over again, and there's no explanation and no baby, I'm calling the cops, lady. That's what I'm doing. I know it's not like we don't have anything in common, dog owners and parents, right? Like, for example, we both believe that we should be able to bring our thing anywhere, no questions asked, anytime we want. And yes, this is how I found out you cannot bring a baby into a weed dispensary, okay? And they're like, sir, you can't come in with that baby. I was like, this is my emotional support baby. Some adjustments have to be made. Like, for example, it is okay to ask me if the kid's a boy or a girl. It's okay. I don't care. Ask me. Go ahead. It's a girl. Very stylish, right? Because people, especially when we didn't know if we were going to have a boy or a girl, people in San Francisco were weird about it. They're like, one woman, she comes up, she goes, do you know the not gender, do you know the sex, not sex, do you know what style of baby you're having? Well, my wife wants Italian New Wave, but I'm holding out for French realism. Some adjustments have to be made, okay? Like, for example, I will tell you that we had a boy or a girl. I will not tell you what we named her, right? I will tell you what we did not name her. We did not name her Myrtle. We didn't do it, right? My wife wanted to name her Myrtle. Her name's Helen. She was like, we should name her Myrtle. It's a beautiful Northern California native plant, and it's a wonderful name. We should name her Myrtle. And I was like, Helen, I'm sorry. Your name is Helen. My name is Arthur. If we name our child Myrtle, our family sounds like a polycule at an old folks' home, all right? Henning! Arthur! It's Myrtle! Some adjustments have to be made, all right? Like, my wife grew up in farm country, right? She feels the need to teach a kid about farm animal noises. I feel no need to teach a kid about farm animal noises. I grew up in San Francisco, right? Here's what you need to know about farm animal noises, right? Here's what you need to know about goats if you live in San Francisco. If you are in San Francisco and you see a goat, you need to get the hell out of there, all right? Because it's about to go really wrong for that goat real soon, okay? Right? Like, best case scenario, you wait 5 minutes and like a shirtless Elon Musk comes out like, stop, come back, I love you, you know? Come to the Late Show, I'll talk more about Elon. Some adjustments have to be made. Okay, like, look, if you know the song, if you don't know the song, here you go. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The old lady on the bus says, hey, back door, hey, back door, hey, back door. The old man on the bus says, you say I'm crazy, but you pay $6 for that cup of coffee. Round and round, all through the town. All right, I've been Arthur Gauss. Thank you very much. Good night.